Well, I messed up, Patriots, and I messed up bad this time. I figured enough time had passed that I'd be all right for me to drink 3 or 4 Bud Lights, maybe have a couple shots of Jack Daniels last night. And I did that, and boy, was I ever wrong. Didn't take long, and all of a sudden I was wanting to learn stuff. I jumped up on my little DuckDuckGo machine right there, and I started doing some reading, and I ran across some video about the rise of socialism in the United States. Well, I had to click on that. I was like, yeah, it's probably them Democrats, and sure enough. Well, I didn't make it about halfway through there, and that thing scared the hell out of me. I don't think y'all realize how bad it is. I couldn't even finish. I just turned it off. I couldn't even finish the thing. And I couldn't sleep, and I just laid there trembling and shaking all night. And I knew as soon as possible I needed to do something to get this socialism off my back. So I waited till the sun came up, and I called up my union boss there and told him what was going on. And I said, I'm going to have to quit. That collective bargaining ain't nothing but just a bunch of code jargon for socialism. And he stood there and asked me, are you sure that's what you want to do and all that? And I'm like, I ain't never been more sure of anything in my life. And I got off the phone to him and knew I needed to head down to that Social Security office and get that taken care of. So I headed out, and I run around back and went ahead and threw the main breaker on the meter back there to get me disconnected from that taxpayer-funded socialist power grid. And then I jumped up in my pickup truck and went and headed on out of there. And just before I got to that road, I realized, oh no, that's one of them taxpayer-funded socialist roads. And I slammed on brakes so hard that my little baby Trump bobblehead about flew clean through the windshield. And I jumped out of the truck, stood there for a little while, thinking, what in the world I'm going to do now? Can't drive this thing. I can't even put gas in it because, shoot, $300 million a year tax money goes to them. So they're socialist gas companies. Might as well sell this thing to some socialist that's willing to put socialist gas and drive on socialist roads with it. So figured ain't nothing I can do but walk. So I took off walking down beside that socialist road right there. And then I realized, wait a minute, this is a 60-foot easement. I'm walking in socialist grass now. So I ran down to the wood line there as fast as I could and got there in the woods. And at least that's private property, I guess. And I'm walking through there, headed towards downtown, and finally got down there to the river. And I'm like, geez, I can't. Now there's a bridge. I can't walk across this socialist bridge. So, yep, did what I had to do and jumped in and swam about a half mile across the river and got to the other side and started looking around, and there wasn't nothing but socialist roads and socialist sidewalks as far as the eye could see. Well, I didn't have no choice. I got out there and just skipped on the sidewalks. At least my feet wasn't touching the socialist sidewalks, but as little as possible until I got down to the Social Security office. And I got in there and finally got to sit down with a woman and explain to her what was going on. And we kind of went back and forth for a while about it. And she said something about, I think you're the dumbest person I've ever talked to in my life. And then I'll go ahead and mark it down in the system for you and all. And well, that made me feel a little better. So I left there and I skipped back down the sidewalk, swam back across the river, started running back through the woods. And I realized, oh no, Mom and Daddy, I got to save them from the socialism. So I ran down to their house as hard as I could go. I run in there and into the damn medicine cabinet and grab all the prescription drugs and flush them down the toilet and look around and grab my dad's CPAC machine and beat it to death with a sledgehammer. And I left there feeling a little better and started to head back to the house. And then I realized, oh damn, my sister's been out of work for a couple months. She's been collecting them food stamps. So I ran way down to her house, run back to her pantry, grabbed all of her food and burned it in the backyard. And after that was done, I felt even better. So I headed back down through the woods and running back to the house and got me a good running start and make sure I could jump over that socialist road. And I almost made it. And I looked around and I saw smoke coming out of my little baby Trump nativity scene there in my front yard. And I realized, oh, damn, I forgot to put my candles out last night when I was praying a little baby Trump. And so I went to go call the fire department. And I was like, I can't do that because they're socialists. So I went to go grab the garden hose. And I was like, well, I can't do that. That's socialist water coming out the hose. The only thing I could do, run in the house and grab me what Bud Light I had left and pour on there. And luckily I had enough to get the fire stopped. And it's been a hard day, but I got a lot of that socialism off my back, and I ain't done yet. I mean, there's a whole lot more to do, but patriots, I mean, I know y'all probably going to want to get started on it as soon as you can too. Start getting some of that socialism off your back. I mean, they say the first day is the hardest day, and they're probably right, but the sooner you get started on it, the better. I mean, just trust the plan, and we'll fight this thing. Inmate Trump 2024.